Here is, as you're driving up Provo Canyon, you'll see off to the left here, it's called Wicks Rock. Wick was my great-grandfather. So Provo Canyon, Wicks Rock. This is Wick and Maud, my great-grandparents, and they had a little place across the highway that was called Wick's Place. There's some scandalous stories about that, I'll tell you later. But there was cabins, a gas station, a dance hall, and the reason I wanted to show you this is because this is going to be your marker for remembering what we talk about today every time you drive up the canyon. I've learned so much with my experiences working with at-risk youth. I worked with at-risk youth for about 7 years. I have been a caregiver for my son who, he was high-functioning autistic. We call him Bigfoot because he was so tall and big. I also, my sister and I cared for our grandmother that had dementia, vascular dementia. My little facility up in Heber, I really feel like I'm kind of cheating the workforce because of three main things. Number one, we have the most beautiful view that you could even imagine, the back of Timpanogos. There is a lot of construction going on, but ignore that. Look past that, the sunsets and the sunrises, the sunsets. I just love the back of Timpanogos and Deer Creek and the view that's up there. My staff is the best in the world as far as I'm concerned. They are absolutely outstanding people. I also have the best nurse in the world. She is incredible. They make my life so much easier. And they make Heber Valley Assisted Living just truly a beautiful place. I also have the most wonderful residents. I can't tell you how much I love them. I've been there it'll be 3 years in December, and the people that I have met and their families, the people that caregive, are just definitely the most wonderful. I do call my facility Heaven's Waiting Room. And the reason that is most of my people are on hospice. I found that in Heber, people wait until kind of the very end to have their people move into my facility when they are at critical care and on hospice. And they are truly the pure of heart. This is the most difficult times of their lives. It's also the most difficult time of the family's life. I've always said that nobody gets out of this life alive, and it's true after losing my son more than 3 years ago, and now working with people who are suffering from all stages of dementia and on hospice. I am just so touched at the tender mercies, and I see the value of living each moment to the fullest. I started into this business for a few reasons. Number one, I did take care of my son with high-functioning autism, and he didn't always think the way that everybody thinks or communicate the way that people communicate, but his heart was just so tender and so pure. And my grandmother is the epitome of perfection, and when dementia seeped in and stole her mind, she never lost her tender heart. And it makes me realize how much there's so many things out there that we deal with that the mind is gone, but we know who they are. So what I hope to convey to you today are 6 points, and the reason they're in a whirlwind is because none of them are in order. These are, like I said, my advice. I was happy to hear Matt Townsend this morning talk about some of these things, so I know that there's scientific research behind them, not just experience. With dementia, I found that it's not necessarily creating memorable memories, because we don't have memories anymore. With my sweet little people that are in my facility, we have moments. And so I actually have changed my terminology over the last 3 years from creating memories to creating moments. Happy moments, tender moments, and these are the moments that really matter in the midst of the whirlwind, because it is hard. So here's a few things. I have this sweet guy right now. This is telling you kind of how the mind goes. He keeps telling his family that we're starving him to death, that we don't feed him ever. And this guy eats like 3 meals a day, and he eats snacks. He gets up at 2 o'clock in the morning and comes into the dining room and gets like snacks and food. We feed him very well. He eats very well. I also have a sweet lady who is convinced that we've stole 2 pairs of her pants and that her pajamas are not really her pajamas. She's even accused me of putting her on a disciplinary list. Her pants are in her closet. They are truly her pajamas. They're not anybody else's. They even have her name in them. And I've never had a disciplinary list for anybody. With all these cases and so many more, and I know that you guys have these stories where you're just like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? I never argue with them. I never correct them. I actually jump into their reality because their reality is their reality. That's exactly what's going on. I go right to their storyline with my sweet guy here. Oh, gosh, you haven't been fed? Lunch was like 30 minutes ago. We take him into the dining room. We get him sat down. We get him a snack. It doesn't have to be anything big because we know that we don't want to overfeed him too, and he will keep eating. But we jump right into his reality. With my sweet lady, I assured her that I would open an investigation to her mysteriously disappearing pants, and I didn't tell her that they were in the closet. I didn't shame her in any way. I jumped into her reality. A big thing that I often hear my residents saying is, I can't believe my dad would do that, or, oh my goodness, my grandma has never said a swear word. I have to tell you this funny story about my sweet grandma. So it was kind of towards the end of her life, and her dementia was just so far gone, she didn't recognize me or my sister anymore. My sister spent like 2 hours every night in the facility that we got her moved into. And my sister had her laundry, and she was putting her laundry, and my grandma was like walking around and really upset with her. And so my sister was going to take more laundry, but not at that moment because my grandma was so upset. And she goes, Grandma, I love you. And my grandma crossed her arms and she said, oh, phooey. And to her, that was like the biggest swear word that we had ever heard her say. And my sister kind of like jumps back. She didn't laugh at her. She didn't shame her or anything, even though that was like a really harsh swear word coming from her mouth. Instead, she called me later and we laughed. And that's kind of a funny family thing now. So when we're swearing, we say, oh, phooey. These are degenerative diseases. They steal our loved ones' minds, but their hearts are still there. So I have to say that my first piece of advice is honor where they're at right now, but always remember who they are. My grandma was super put together. She loved her hair done. She loved to pick out her clothes. It's important for us to honor where we know that they come from and what's really important to them. And honor their pure hearts, not the crazy diseases that they're suffering from. Most of our residents don't even know our names. I get to introduce myself every morning. Hi, I'm Stacy. Oh, hi. They're super sweet, sweet people. I have one lady who's completely incapacitated in every way. We have to feed her, and she spends most of her time in a bed or a bed chair. And we include her on everything. Even though she can't talk to us and share with us things, we know from her blinking means yes, that she loves dogs and music and people. She loves her religious services, and she loves food, especially ice cream. My sweet guy that I was just talking about, the one that never gets fed, he lived in Hawaii and loves Hawaiian shirts and hats. We had a day to celebrate just him. Everyone wore Hawaiian shirts. We wore hats. And we even had Hawaiian food. I had one of my staff members was from the islands, and she cooked some traditional Hawaiian foods. And we wore leis, and he would go to sleep. And when he would wake up, he wouldn't remember a dang thing, and we would start all over again with those memorable moments. I have staff members who they bring in books for a couple of my residents that are still reading, so that they have like a book exchange and they talk about the books. It's almost like a cute little book club. I have other staff members who bring in like fresh tomatoes from their garden because that's what the residents want. We even do things for our cute little family members that come in to visit with their loved ones, and we want to make everybody's life as comfortable as possible. My sister is the kitchen manager. She's also a pain in my tushy. She's the domestic goddess of our family. I'm actually domestically challenged, so I'm so glad that she's in the kitchen. She makes my job so much easier. She's constantly doing a wonderful job with these little things. She makes popcorn for like movies. She just puts them in like small bowls, and we have like a movie night. We call it movie and popcorn, and the residents just absolutely love it each time we do it. They don't realize that we're doing it even though it's on the calendar. She also makes special meals for their birthdays, homemade desserts, and things for holidays. She's even made our residents carrot pudding. Last year we found out that one of our residents loved carrot pudding. She didn't even know what it was. We got a hold of the family members, we got the resident's actual recipe and made her homemade carrot pudding. These are the little things, the little moments that matter so much. I have one resident who used to smoke and drink beer, and her health is declining and her lungs can't handle cigarette smoke right now. And so my nurse got her candy cigarettes, and I got her some liquid death water that looks like a beer can, and she really had a memorable moment. She just absolutely ate that up. It was wonderful. Some of the cutest things I've ever seen. I have family members who come in and they decorate their residents' rooms in the holidays. Even though they don't know what's going on, they decorate for the holidays. And we have fun dress-up days and things for the holidays. I have one family about a year ago who they brought in fur coats, feather boas, makeup, tiara, and a bunch of other props, and they set up my whole back patio as a photo studio and had glamour shots with their mother and grandmother that has dementia, and she just recently passed away, and oh my goodness, I love these pictures so much because they just are her. She's like eating at the candy, and she was just so much fun. She didn't remember anything after the fact. These were truly memorable moments. We have to honor where they're at right now, but also remember who they are. I do have to say that there's a little side note, and Matt Townsend talked about this morning. They do have moments of clarity, and they start talking like themselves, and it's so hard for us as their caregivers to get wrapped up in that moment. Oh, my grandma knows exactly what she wants, and she wants to move home, or they might want to drive a car, or things that we know that they're past that stage, and so it's important for us not to get wrapped up in those moments of clarity, but celebrate those as your memorable moments, because this is a degenerative disease. It's gonna just keep going. It's gonna keep declining. I had a couple just recently move back home against medical advice because he really felt like that they could take care of their yard and cook and clean for themselves. And their family took that moment of clarity and has supported them in moving home. And so we're working to get them more services at home so that they don't get hurt. I love them so much. So my second piece of advice is to be in their moment, not yours. One time me and my grandma were walking down the hallway, and like I said, my grandma was always perfect and well put together. She never yelled at me a day in my life, but she was yelling at me as we were walking down the hall and told me that I didn't protect her against this man that was being inappropriate, one that we worked with at a restaurant together. And I was completely dumbfounded, and I kept asking her questions, and she kept getting more mad. But I was asking in my moment questions, not in her moment. And when I realized that she was stuck in a memory, I calmed myself down and asked her in her moment questions, and it calmed her down, and it really got the situation under control. There's a difference, especially with dementia, in the moment or your moment and the present, which is the present where we are, and their moment. Their moment could be 30 years ago, it could be 10 years ago. After I changed my thinking and jumped into her moment, I had to lie a little And that is hard because I would never lie to my grandma. Maybe my mom, when I was a teenager, about what time I came home or something. Sorry, Mom, but never my grandma. I would never lie to my grandparents. And so, but I have to say, one of the coolest things I learned when my grandma first moved into assisted living was the word fiblet. It's important for us to jump into their moment, and if we need to tell a fiblet, tell a fiblet. It's a truth that is for their moment. This has been a lifesaver for me, especially in my assisted living center now, because I have so many sweet people that want to drive a car. I have one lady a couple years ago, she kept wanting to pack. She was like 90 something. She kept wanting to pack because her parents were really strict and she needed to get home. And she wanted to leave my facility to go home. So I had to tell her a fiblet of, hey, your parents called and they said that they would like me to take care of you tonight, so let's get you in bed and get you rested. I wasn't lying, I was protecting her, and that is what a fiblet is. So put that in your vocabulary. It's really, really important to be in their moment. This one has been really important to me. As I started my journey with my grandma and her dementia, I didn't understand what dementia was. I thought dementia was something different and Alzheimer's was, I didn't really understand what it was, maybe a little bit forgetful or whatnot. And as I started taking these caregiver groups and working with other people with dementia, seeing the caregivers in the assisted living centers, talking to other people who care for loved ones in their home, and also studying her actual type of dementia, it helped me really help her, both me and my sister. Places where neurons used to send messages to are literally gone. They're literally being erased and deteriorated. And so there's things that they can't remember and that they can't say. And knowing that it's a physical thing really helped soften my heart and be more patient with the situation. This one comes from, I think, the time I was born till now. It's okay to love with all you've got. And that's actually probably one of my strongest pieces of advice. It's gonna hurt in the end, no matter what. So have fun now. Celebrate every little thing that you can. I hire brand new caregivers and help them become connected, loving, happy. CNA is one of the biggest things that they come in saying, I don't think I can do this job because when somebody passes, it's going to break my heart. You know what? You're right, it is. One of the things I created from the very second I walked in the door is we all have charm bracelets. And when somebody passes away in our care, we pick a charm bracelet or charm for our bracelet that represents that person. I have a cute little guy who he did not want to celebrate his 98th birthday here on Earth. He wanted to go be with his wife. And 4 days before his 98th birthday, he passed. So he got his rathers. He was a World War II vet, and I love this guy. And my charm for him is a cute little red, white, and blue charm. But my sister, he always finagled root beer popsicles out of her because she's in the kitchen. And so she picked a popsicle for her charm because that is what connected her to him. I have all kinds of, have one lady who, she bit most of us, and so we got vampire teeth for her. I've got a lady who, she was really, really young and she had brain cancer. This was years ago, and she was a hippie. She had tie-dye clothes and everything, and she lived for 1 week in my facility, and I have a beautiful peace sign for her because it just connects me to her. This is something that I help my staff with so that they know that they can love with all they've got, care with all they've got, serve with all you've got. Nobody gets out of this life alive, and it's going to hurt, so you might as well just jump in with both feet. My staff and my nurses are super incredible at loving with all they've got. We do everything from hair salons daily, like we have ladies that love their hair curled. I have a beauty queen who we actually dye her hair. We have this people her family send in the hair dye. because a beauty queen would never want roots, okay? And we do hand feeding. If they don't want to come out for activities, we will go in their room and spend one-on-one time with them. So I do have to say that anything to do with assisted living or caregiving at home, all the different programs that are out there, everything is so confusing. There's so much to do with caregiving, and as you all know this, it can get really confusing. I deal with people every day who feel guilty for putting their loved ones in assisted living or for calling a home health and hospice company to come into their home. They aren't able to take their loved one for a drive anymore. There's so many things. They are put their loved one in respite so that they can go on a family vacation because they can't take their family member with them. And I have to say, this is also another big one for me, is you've got to stop feeling guilty. You can't feel guilty. There's not one thing that you're doing that's wrong because you're doing it out of love, and love will always prevail. Your loved one's disease and the effect it has on the body and mind are so hard, and there is really no one way to deal with any one thing. It's truly trial and error. It's kind of another reason I'm grateful for dementia, because if I screw up, they forget. That's really good, and then I can go back at them with something that's loving that actually works. Just do your very best and just stay in that place of love. And do not feel guilty for the things. If you make a mistake, we do better the next day. When you know better, you do better. A quote that I have on my wall, and I always have, even when I was in the supplement world and everything else, is every single human being, when the entire situation is taken into account, has always, at every moment of the past, done the very best he or she could do, and so deserves neither blame nor reproach from anyone, including self. Don't beat yourself up. It's really, really important. When someone's upset at having to look at assisted living and they just can't do it anymore, I share with them a few things. Anyone, and I mean anyone, this is all of you, who gives care to someone in their home, in an assisted living center, programs that help you get into assisted living centers or help you get help in your home. Anybody who works with seniors, works with these diseases, works with people who, the pure of heart, they are a hero in my book. My staff go home after their shifts. Sometimes they bug me for overtime, but that's a different story. But we do it together. Yeah, we're superheroes, but we are superheroes together, and we go home and we sleep and we reconnect with our families, and then we come back and do it again. When you are caring for someone in your home, you are doing this 24 hours a day, and you are a superhero. Even if you have somebody coming in 3 times a week to help with showers or anything like that, you worry when you go to the bathroom. You worry when you go to the store. You worry when you're asleep. You sleep with one ear open. You're probably really, really tired. It takes you've heard it said it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to caregive also. And so there are so many great resources here. There's booths out here. There's people in your community, in your churches, in other churches. It doesn't matter. There's so many people out there that want to help. Please, however you're doing caregiving, whether it is going and loving them in an assisted living center or in your own home, please get help. Any kind of help that you can get that really helps you do the self-care things that are so important. I have this cute lady who just moved in. Her son was trying to take care of everything on his own, and like 3 months ago, he refused to let her move in, but he was like slipping. Everything was kind of falling apart, and she really wasn't getting taken care of very well because he was just so tired. She got moved into our facility about 3 weeks ago, and she is so freaking cute. I can't stand it. She's so cute. She likes to wear sunglasses. Her hair's so fun to curl because it just like puffs up perfectly. And her son, after about the first week and a half, 2 weeks, came in, and he was almost in tears, and he thanked us because he had burned out to the very end of it. Now he comes in and he holds her hand while they watch TV. She's not watching it. He is. He feeds her popcorn. He's just so sweet with her. He's actually her son again. and that's his mama, instead of him having to be the caregiver. And that's okay. It's okay if you care for him in your home. It's okay if you put him in assisted living. There are no wrong answers. So we're going to recap a little bit. Honor where they are right now, but remember who they really are, their pure hearts. Be in their moment, not the moment. Understand their disease. Love with all you've got and no guilt. So my final piece of advice for now, and I mean I could talk forever, ask anybody who knows me. I'm really passionate about this one also. Do it. Do it all. A lot of it's going to have to be adapted. If you do have somebody who can help you and you know your loved one would love to go for a drive, but you know you can't get them in and out of the car, have somebody meet you at your house, get them in the car, go for a drive, have them meet you so that they can get them back in the house. Whatever the case may be, just do it. Live every moment to its fullest. Create those memorable moments. Love, laugh, live with all you've got right now. Do it, do it, do it. That's all I have to say for that. I do have to show you this really cute thing. I took a motorcycle safety class. I guess I'm going to be a motorcycle mama, but kind of. I don't know if that's going to work out. But the Riding Academy manager, he used to work in assisted living. His road name is Swede. And he shared this story with me, and I'm going to share it with you. I'll just tell you as it's going. This is Helen. She was living in assisted living, and they were talking about bucket lists. And she is like, hey, I think I want to ride a motorcycle. But it was like October. But then she ended up talking to Swede, who was the kitchen manager at the time. And Swede got it all set up for her 94th birthday to actually get her in chaps and a leather coat and a helmet. Her son was so excited. Her family and grandkids and great-grandkids were all just really supportive of the whole thing. And they got her on a Harley, and they drove up Provo Canyon up into Heber, and they went to the train stop that's up there and had milkshakes. And lo and behold, while they're at the facility, or at the train stop, the governor shows up, and they start talking about what they're doing with the bucket list, and he actually sang happy birthday to her, and like all these motorcycle guys were all, like all these rough, tough motorcycle guys were all around her, and she is just tickled to be able to have put that on her bucket list. They put her ice cream in a big pink bucket to represent her bucket list. It's just the cutest story. If you can look this up, it's about 9 minutes long. Watch the whole thing. It will tell you to just do it. Just do anything that you have to do. And we're going to adapt. They had a little step stool for her, and they helped her up onto the Harley, and they wanted to take her up to Yellowstone, and she's like, I was just thinking around the block. But she is super darling, and just a really, really neat experience that reminds me every day to just do it all. So I'm just going to go on to the next slide. We love technology. So I'm going to go on to the next slide. Did it work? Yep. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we talked about Wicks Rock in the very beginning. This is a beautiful painting by Kirk Hendrickson, and it is sold, so I can't buy it, but I would because it's my great-grandfather, Wick. So when you drive up Provo Canyon, and instead of thinking of this crazy lady that talks too much, I'd like you to think of these 6 things and your journey in creating memorable moments of the pure of heart. Now I've lost my place, so I'm just going to tell you this. And these 6 points, this is what I want Wicks Rock to remind you of. My grandfather, some of these fun, scandalous stories. Get to the microphone. Oh, that's right. Dang it. Okay, microphone. Wicks Place with the dance hall, and there was a room behind the dance hall. There's quite a few scandalous stories, but one thing that I've always heard about my great-grandfather was that he was kind, and he was fun, and he always lived every moment to the fullest. So that's what I want you to remember is these 6 things when you see beautiful Wicks Rock. Here are my residents, my grandma. We've celebrated 200th birthdays in my facility. We've had Santa come. We've done baristas. All kinds of things. My grandma did Snapchat with me once. That was awesome. Just the cutest people. We have exercise classes. I have the best staff. Halloween photo booths. Let's see. A few more cute ones. Really, really fun, cute people. These are my favorite people in the whole world. I read this story a lot of times one time, and I did think about people with dementia. When a flashlight goes out, we don't just throw the flashlight out. We actually get batteries and put the batteries in. In people with dementia, the batteries are going to look different. It's gonna be a different light. It's going to be a different shine, but they're still the pure of heart, and they're still who they are. So it's important for us to adapt to those little things so that we can create those memories. I love forget-me-nots. I think that should be, I know it's the Alaska flower, but should also be representation of people with dementia. And I'm going to say this, my family gets so mad at me when I take pictures. Since my son has passed, I'm so grateful that I'm photo crazy. I take as many pictures as I possibly can, and I have those for me. The people that have the cute little photo shoot of their mom and grandma, take pictures of everything with everyone. If somebody goes to take a picture of you, don't say with one of your loved ones, don't say, I don't take pictures, take those pictures. It's really, really important afterwards, and it helps with your grieving process. So at the end of the day, all that really matters is love and memories, so make sure you give it and make sure you make them. You can see some of our cute little memories on Instagram, and I'm always open for questions.